Hey folks, EvilDM here for EvilDM Sage Advice. I'm back with another video. This week we're going to talk a little bit about DM anxiety, problems with worrying about your game, and reasons why. Just don't sweat it, just roll with it. Hey folks, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you've been enjoying the series so far. I know there was a little bit of a break there between episodes, had a little bit of a family thing going on, but it's over now. We're back. I'll be doing some more videos as we're moving along. This one this week is going to be about DM anxiety. Now, I know a lot of people out there are first-time DMs and may not have been playing for a long time, which is perfectly fine. Everybody starts somewhere. I started somewhere, so will you. And they need to know that just don't sweat it so much. Just roll with what happens. I know it's not easy just to think of, you know, what happens if my player does this or that, and you want to know, you want everything covered. You want to make sure you have everything ready so there's no moments. You just have to learn. Number one rule is always roll with it and say yes. If you have to say no because you don't like something, try saying, how about we do it this way? All right, how about this? Those are some key words to remember when you're playing. Those things. If you feel like something shouldn't be done or won't work, always suggest an alternative, and most of the time the players will roll with it because they just want to have a fun time like you. Now, you may prep for the game and worry about every little detail and every little way a player is going to go with their character, and you'll probably sit up all night and all week trying to figure that out if you're one of those people. And you can write down pages and pages worth of notes, but all it takes is one little thing, a butterfly to go by, an NPC that you thought was a throwaway can lead to an hour conversation. I mean, I've done things in dungeons where I didn't think anything was going to happen, and there was a fountain one time, and it was just a fountain. That's all it was in the middle of the dungeon. I just wanted to put it in there for some background, for some flavor, and the players spent approximately 30 minutes on this fountain that was in the middle of the dungeon trying to figure out why it was there. Maybe it was secret, was the water this or that. So I rolled with it and I made it into something fun. I made it so that, you know, when they touched the water, maybe some parts of the fountain moved, and after them playing around with it for a while, I made it seem like it was some type of elaborate riddle, and a little door slid open and maybe there was a bag of gold or an item in there that I randomly rolled. But you just don't, you need not sweat it. Just roll with what they have to say, because it's just no fun if you sweat it and just sit there. So what you want to do, instead of writing everything out, is you want to write down things that you want to accomplish during the session. Now, that could be anything. I mean, say you have a game where your players are in a new land and they're exploring it. So you want them to go to this cave that you really call Caves of Treasure, like my example I wrote down here on a piece of paper, which I'll show you in a minute. Caves of Treasure. So you want those player characters to go to that. And this also goes with saying you have to know your group. You have to know the players in the group and how they react to things. If you're a brand new DM and you're playing with your friends, you have a general idea of how your friends react to situations, especially if you're around them all the time. Even if you don't play with them, if you've never played with them before, you still know generally how your friends react to things. You need to play off of that. It's kind of like an improv. You know, you need to roll with what they're saying, roll with what they're doing. You need to learn how to do that. And it's something that you don't learn overnight. Some people can instantly do it. I know a few people in the OSR community and the 5e community that can, like that, just roll with anything that happens. For example, a good person with improv is DM Glenn. He's from Save or Die and Thacko's Hammer and other various podcasts that he's in, but he can roll with it. I'm able to roll with things too, but it wasn't an instantaneous thing. I had to figure that out over a little bit of time. Maybe same thing happened with Glenn. I don't know. I do know that I do not like running modules or writing mostly anything down except for what I want to cover in my session during the game. So for example, my next D&D game, I have written down 4 different things on this notepad. See my crappy handwriting there? So I'll read them to you because you can't read my handwriting. But I have a couple characters in the game, and let's say we were playing, and Ulfric was one of them, and he was supposed to be free now. So now I want to maybe hook him onto this new quest, the Cave of Treasures. How am I going to do that? So that could be something that I could cover during the game, and maybe someone walks up to him during the game and feeds him a line about the Caves of Treasure. Maybe he doesn't bite because he's not interested in it, and that's fine. You just basically you put a little check mark next to it, and you try again later on with something in a different situation, because you never know how a player is going to react to something or act to something. They may not like it now, but 2 sessions down the line, you could refeed it again, and they hear this. Oh, wait a minute. I remember those Caves of Treasure. That must mean there's something important about this. I may need to go there. Not saying every player is going to react like that. Not saying this player will react like that. It's trial and error. See how I'm doing it? So there is another character named Steelfang in the game. He is a Keshar, excuse me. So he's part cat. And when he was in this new dwarven land, the NPCs all treated him like dirt. There was one NPC in particular that did take an annoyance towards him, and he kind of glimpsed at his name, but I didn't do much more with it. So what I could do is I could refuel that fire and have him maybe go out to get him somehow. Maybe when he goes back to the inn, the named NPC will give him more of a hassle and become more of a problem as they advance through the dwarven society, and to the point that this guy becomes an adversary somewhat. Okay, maybe that works, maybe that doesn't. You also write a little note next to that how the player reacted. You're always taking notes as a DM, whether it's in your head for the time being, or if you're recording it like I do for the World of Arcanus podcast. If you record it, beautiful, because you can go back and listen to it. If you don't, have a notepad with you, have a notebook with you, have your iPad, tablet, whatever you use to take notes, have that handy so you can be like, all right, while you're on a break for a second, while they're thinking or something, see, NPC didn't work, try again later on. NPC didn't work, scratch that idea. Things like that. There's also another character named Pinky Steve in the game. If you listen to the podcast, you'll know why he's called that. And for Pinky Steve out there. Let's just say that the Pinky Steve name his nickname really hasn't made it to this continent yet, but it's on its way, unfortunately. So now I have to start planting the stages of how this nickname got there. So maybe he sees some people posting up signs, which leads to him going after them, which can lead into a whole quest, which leads back into something that I'm not going to say here because he might be listening. But it could lead into something that could be a whole giant subplot of this whole organization behind it. Not saying it is, not saying it isn't. And finally, we have another character that I'm going to name Old Humie, and she has kind of visions every once in a while of events that happen, and I know the character and the player, so I was thinking about having her experience some type of robbery inside of a bank in town, inside of the vault in town. Maybe when she sees this, she'll either go there to stop them so she can take the gold, you never know, or go there to stop them at this particular time so she can reap the rewards of being a hero. I don't know exactly. I have an idea what this player will do, but you don't know until you try it. These are possible things that you can do in your session for your game. These are just like 4 of them that I wrote down quickly before this just to show you guys how easy it is to do something like this. And you can just bring it up casually inside the campaign session without a problem. So you need to let players have the freedom to go around, but you need to also have your set plan in place when you're doing this. And this is the best way I've found, is to bullet point your ideas on something like this. You could fill up 4, 5, 6 different pages of stuff that you want to accomplish. And if you don't get through it, who cares? If you only get through one idea and it takes the entire session, as long as your group is having fun and you're having fun, doesn't matter. Move everything to the next time. Make little notes. What happened during the session? It's very important. Very important to have a DM journal. I think I've spoke about that in a bunch of episodes in the past, but DM journals are essential, and you can find tons of videos here on YouTube about DM journals and how they work and how to lay them out. And I really can't tell you how to lay out your DM journal. Everybody has their own way, and I don't want you to get intimidated by it because some people have some elaborate, fancy ways. And mine is just basically a one-page, what happened, what I want to do, moving things from page to page, crossing them out. It's just a slap-hazard mess. Did I say slap-hazard? Nah, sloppy mess. But it works for me. As long as it works for you, you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for anybody else or anybody else's approval. Just yours. So I'm the Evil DM. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hit a like, hit subscribe, and comment below on what you do for DM anxiety and how you handle things in your game for prepping or waiting to go to the game. How do you handle it? So let me know. Good night, everybody.